Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a movie review for Netflix's The Perfect Date. The Perfect Date is the newest movie in a long line of teen rom-coms that Netflix has been releasing. This one stars Noah Centineo, who has previously starred in several of those same Netflix rom-coms. So he seems to be kind of the go-to guy for these types of movies, which look at him. I'm not mad at it. I get it. He's in this movie, but it also stars Laura Marano, who was on Disney Channel, as well as Camila Mendes, who's on Riverdale, which is a show that I love. Noah Centineo plays a character named Brooks Radigan, and he's a high school senior who is in the process of applying for schools, and he's really short for money as kind of his main issue. An opportunity arises for him to make some money. All he has to do is, there's a guy at his school who has a cousin, and somebody needs to take that cousin to her school formal. And Brooks volunteers to be that guy. We find out that the cousin is Celia, Laura Marano's character, and Celia is kind of not for this dance. She's not with it. She's not feeling it, but her parents are making her go. So Brooks takes her to the dance, and it actually turns out to be a pretty successful date. He listens to Celia, and he kind of is just this all-around perfect date, hence the name. And on kind of a whim, he and his friend are joking, and he says that that would be like a perfect idea for an app. And boom, that's kind of where the movie takes off from there. They create this app, and business is rolling in for Brooks. He goes on different dates and basically transforms himself into the guy that these girls are wanting him to be. For one, he's goes to a tennis match or salsa dancing or an art gallery. There's one scene that I thought was super hilarious where a girl wanted advice on how to go on a date herself. And obviously, he has the expertise since he's going on all these dates, so he was able to give the girl tips, and I thought that was a really nice and smart way to use the app compared to how some of the other people were using it. Brooks meets this girl, Shelby, who also goes to Celia's school, and in his eyes, she's like the perfect girl. He meets Shelby and determines that's the girl that he wants, and Yale is the school that he wants to go to. Thankfully, Celia happens to have some connections at the school, and she gets Brooks an interview with the dean of admissions. Instead of going in and being himself, talking about how, he created this whole app, he basically lies to the dean and presents this persona that he's not. Celia really takes issue with that because he really doesn't know who he is, and he's kind of using what he's learned from using this app in this interview with the dean of admissions. He's basically shaping himself or making himself into somebody that will appease whoever he's talking to. He doesn't really know his true self, and that's kind of his major character flaw throughout the whole movie. Celia is there, her character is kind of there to show him that, that's not what life is all about. So I think that's kind of the dynamic that's created between those two characters. Brooks also has a best friend, actually the guy who helped develop the app for him. And through this whole process, his friend kind of gets left behind as he's going out on these dates and dating Shelby and doing all these things. A little bit of conflict that happens with that situation as well. We see he has a best friend, and then things start to take off with the app, and the friend is subsequently left in the dust. Another aspect of the story is that Celia has a crush of her own that she developed. So she and Brooks decide that they want to pretend date so that Celia can get her guy and Brooks can get Shelby. You can already probably kind of guess how this goes. Celia realizes that the guy she likes isn't the guy that she wants to be with, but by the time she realizes it, Brooks is kind of moving things forward with Shelby, and there's this big scene that they have where they plan to break up with each other so that their prospective crushes can, come to their rescue and they can be with them. But it goes horribly wrong, predictably. At some point in the movie, Brooks and Celia had this kind of heart-to-heart conversation about why they are the way that they are, and Celia revealed a lot of personal things to Brooks. In this fake breakup, he kind of used that against her, which was not the plan at all. So all of that happened, and they make up, which is another thing that's predictable. But for me, this is kind of where I really took issue with the movie, how things were resolved. I got the sense that Brooks never really realized what he did wrong. Brooks and Celia eventually see each other again after some time, and kind of gradually make up that way. I feel like he doesn't really know what he did wrong by bringing up all those things about her, and I feel like Celia should have explained that to him. That was probably one of the biggest pitfalls. And the whole thing with Brooks, I'm honestly gonna say, like, he wasn't my favorite character. I just thought that he was really had a one-track mind and really, you know, didn't know who he was. His end goal was to get into Yale, and that was it. And, you know, at some point in the movie, somebody questions him, is like, well, what are you gonna do once you get there? It seems as if he hasn't even thought that far ahead. He's so focused on just getting there that he doesn't even know what he's gonna do there. He just wants to get the girl, get into the school, and get money. Another issue that I had with Brooks's character, Brooks lives with his dad, and his dad is now a single father, and we learned that his mom is off living somewhere else with a whole new family and all that stuff. Brooks is just like really mean to his father. His father was a writer, and after his mom left, things kind of fell off. But Brooks, I feel like, has a lot of resentment against his dad because he's not this successful guy, and I think that's where this whole image that Brooks has of like the perfect life, I think that's where it comes from and why he's developed this idea of what success is, and obviously it's like misconstrued and like incorrect. Once again, they kind of rectify things towards the end, but I feel like he held a lot against his dad and was like a tad disrespectful. The plot gets a little predictable. You can kind of tell where it's gonna go, kind of even from the start. It's kind of something you expect with a lot of these rom-coms that are coming out these days. You know, they really play into cliches, but it's just a matter of how well they execute it. I think this movie did fairly okay. You know, it wasn't my favorite rom-com that Netflix has put out. I think To All the Boys I Loved Before just like really set the bar high for a lot of these other movies to live up to. And then obviously Netflix has had some pitfalls with their rom-coms as well. If you saw Sierra Burgess Is a Loser, which also starred Noah Centineo, people really had issues with that one. These rom-coms have been kind of hit or miss for Netflix. I think The Perfect Date kind of falls right in the middle of the road. So this one wasn't horrible. I can appreciate it for what it was, but it wasn't the greatest. I think Noah Centineo and Laura Marano had really good chemistry with each other. I really liked their performances. The guy who played Brooks's friend Murph, I think he did a really good performance as well. He had some really funny like one-liners in there, which was great. Camila Mendes, she did fine. I mean, I love her on Riverdale. Obviously this was kind of a smaller role for her, so I don't think there was much to do with her character, but you know, she did great. Everybody did great. But yeah, it just like wasn't all that then some. You know, it was kind of like just enough, you know, to kill like an hour and a half. Let me know what you guys think of The Perfect Day. What's your favorite Netflix rom-com movie if you have one? And I will see you next time.